again, welcome to our second podcast. Our topic for today is fast bowling heroes while we wait for our other participants. Just a quick reminder for everybody, our channel is called Cricket Shenanigans. So please like the videos, subscribe to the channel, it's absolutely free. Subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell notification so that you receive the automated notification.
Awake, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So we'll get started, Prince. Nilanjan is joining in a couple of minutes. So we were just saying that we'll do a fantasy IPL.
I think that sounds like a good idea. Although I tend to lose in such competitions, but yeah.
Nilanjan, good morning.
Hey Abhishek, good morning.
So we have a new participant, very close friend of mine, Nilanjan, and we also have Jolin. Jolin is again my friend from work.
Hi, Nilanjan.
And of course, Avik Nilanjan, you know, he's my brother.
Yes.
Okay. So with that said, let's get started. So I'm actually recording the session as well. I'm going to edit it later, but let me get started. I have made some notes here. Okay. So guys, our topic today is fast bowling superheroes. So this is one aspect of cricket that that is very exciting, and I thought this would be a good topic for us to discuss. So before we start our discussion, I just want to set up some boundaries. So when we say fast bowling, do we want to include all kind of fast bowling, in the sense medium pace bowlers as well, or are we talking about genuine fast bowlers? Because then
I think we should include medium pacers as well, right? Because it's not just the speed, but it's how you make an impact to the game. As long as you are not a spinner, you should be qualified.
Yeah, fair point.
And above. Mohinder Amarnath and above.
Mohinder Amarnath and above. Fair point.
We probably need to include Kumble as well then in that case.
So funny thing that I had gone to see a test match in Mumbai, and again from far we were seeing Prasad and Kumble bowling. We felt as if Kumble was bowling faster than Prasad. That very well must have been the case, right?
Yeah.
And and the reason I brought about the fast bowler medium pace debate is because if you look at the cricketing history, the top 7 bowlers in Test cricket, none of them are genuine fast bowlers. They're either spinners or medium pacers. But now, since we're going to include everything, I think it'll be an interesting discussion. So before we start, I think my first question would be, what aspect of fast bowling fascinates you or excites you? Or in other words, what is your definition of a really good fast or fast medium bowler? So let's start with Nilanjan.
Okay. So the aspect of fast bowling that attracts me or excites me the most is swing. Outswing. Reason being, I used to be an outswing bowler myself in my school days, right? And I remember that in one of the school matches, we used to have those inter-house cricket matches. It was a 20-over game, okay, and I was bowling with 4 slips. Okay, and that is because, see, in 83, right, 84, in those times, we were used to seeing, and we were pretty much impacted by, or influenced by the greats like Malcolm Marshall, Dennis Lillee, right, Jeff Thompson, and all the Michael Holding, Joel Gunner, you just name it, right? So the latter half of 83 were dominated by those great fast bowlers. And the moment you switch on the TV, you see 4 slips and Indian batsmen getting caught on the slips. So in one of, and that also inspired me to bowl outswing. Okay, in those days. Okay. So when we had our thread ceremony, okay, my uncle gifted me a cricket set, okay, with pad and bat and the deuce ball and everything. So then I thought, okay, I have been playing with canvas ball and tennis balls and all my life. Okay, till that point. Now let's try something new. So now that I have a deuce ball in hand, and in those days it used to be very expensive, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it used to be expensive. So that gave an opportunity to explore, swing bowling, fast bowling, whatever you call it, right? That was my inspiration.
Nice, nice, nice.
Okay. So I would always say swing bowling is one of my favorite aspects, not just the speed, but the swing bowling is one of my favorite aspects in fast bowling. I mean, in fact, if you recall, Abhishek, think of Balwinder Singh Sandhu.
Yeah, yeah.
Balwinder Singh Sandhu, he was by no means a speedster, right?
Right, right.
But his contribution in the 1983 World Cup, both
Right,
himself,
Gordon
both
Greenwich.
Balwinder Singh Sandhu and Madan Lal. Kapil Dev, of
Motherland.
course, is in a different league, right?
Right.
But Balwinder Singh Sandhu and Madan Lal were, great, made huge impacts in the 1983 World Cup.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And,
Gordon
and
Greenwich
they were
dismissal, right?
slow but swing bowlers, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nobody will forget the Gordon Greenwich dismissal in the World Cup final, right? To Balwinder Sandhu, where he
exactly.
shoulders arms and he gets bowled. And then Madan Lal, of course, took Viv Richards' wicket,
Yeah.
caught by Kapil Dev. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
No,
that was more of a Kapil Dev wicket.
true, true, true. Running backward. Yes, yes, yes. Great answer, Nilanjan. Prince, you want to go next? What aspect of fast bowling
Yeah.
excites you?
I think the time I started watching serious cricket, I think the aggression of fast bowlers like Curtly Ambrose, Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunus, I think that kind of attracted me towards fast bowling more than the skill element of these bowlers. So I equated fast bowling with death overs in limited over cricket, and I equated fast bowling with Wasim Akram more in swinging, out swinging, Yorker, short pitch stuff, and then a smelling leather kind of bowling. So in my initial years, I did not watch a lot of Test cricket, but in the limited overs cricket, I used to watch fast bowlers, and I liked fast bowlers because of their ability to bowl Yorkers, basically.
And and as the Caribbean like to call it, the perfume ball.
The perfume ball, yes. So Yorkers and short ball, aggression, and so I always thought fast bowlers are meant to win you Test matches or any kind of matches. So even though you have fast bowlers who have been strong on line and length and have been stock bowlers, but for me a genuine fast bowler has to be a wicket taker. You can't have a genuine fast bowler who is just bowling economical stuff. So
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, yeah, excellent point. Jolin?
Yeah. So I think so. Like for me, like from India, there are not too many fast bowlers. So when I say fast bowlers, as in like raw pace and the kind of terror that you generate in batsman's mind. So for me, the two traits that I would kind of relate with fast bowling is raw pace and the action, the bowling action, at the end. So I think I have a couple of examples when I talk about raw pace and bowling action. Correct. Shoaib Akhtar is one. Like he used to start his run up from the boundary line and come at you. Like it looks like he's kind to kill you. I mean to say, rather than bowl you out. So that's the kind of aggression I would relate it to. And there are like so many bowlers like Sean Tate, Shane Bone, like out and out pace bowler. It doesn't matter what the pitch is, what the time of the day is, whether it's a death bowling, opening bowling, and middle. Whenever they come, probably you see a glamour. You like watching cricket for that particular period, no matter who the batsman is, who the condition is. So for me, raw pace and the kind of the action they use. And one of the recent example is Bumrah, correct? And it's like different bowling action, correct? It creates a confusion in batsmen's minds already, when he's at it. So those are the two traits, and I think one of the very kind of funny incident, correct? So I think one of the Indian series when I think we visited Caribbean, and we had Abe Kuruvilla from Maharashtra or probably
Mm.
Yeah.
Mumbai. So like the kind of physique he had, correct? Like Matthew Hayden kind of physique, height, like, yeah. And then I
6
used
feet
to
8
see,
inches. Yeah.
yeah, and the speed I think 118, 120, even less than Kumble, correct? So that was like a big put off for me, like when you have that kind of physique and you cannot ball. And I think time and again, like Ishan Sharma, Abe Kuruvilla, or per se anyone, correct? Irfan Pathan, everyone started with 130s, 140s, and I ended up with 120. So that's pretty unfortunate part of it from Indian side. But I like watching Brett Lee and Shoaib Akhtar most.
Good. Excellent point. So let me provide you my perspective. My earliest memory of fast bowling, that really attracted me initially, if you remember, back in the late 80s, 90s, was the Australian fast bowlers used to wear zinc cream over here. And then you would see Craig McDermott, Alan Donald wearing the zinc cream and, looking very menacing and, running towards the batsman. So I remember when I was a kid, I always used to like bowling fast. And that is something we used to copy. And again, we didn't have zinc cream there back then. So we used to take regular cold cream and put it here and try to look menacing. So that sight I can never forget. So for me, the aspect of fast bowling that really excites me is the fact that fast bowlers, I think Nilanjan, you hit that initially when you were talking about it, is impact, right? Fast bowling has so much impact on the game that, when we talk about spinners, in a lot of cases, in most spinners' case, we talk about the pitch being helpful, right? I think the genuinely good fast bowlers could make things happen even on very flat wickets. I mean, on good fast wickets, even mediocre bowlers could do it, but genuine fast bowlers would be a threat even on very slow wickets. If you look at the real greats, I mean, they have done well even in slow wickets like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Dale Steyn is a great example, right? I mean, he is an awesome bowler anywhere in the world. But if you look at his record in India, it is unbelievable. He is single-handedly won test matches in flat surfaces in India. That for me is what defines a fast bowler. That he doesn't rely on pitches or conditions to deliver performances. So that's key. Swing is again very, very critical for fast bowling, and especially in today's times when the pitches are more or less flat. So traditional swing and reverse swing, very important aspect of fast bowling, right? Because once the ball gets old, they don't get much purchase from the wicket. And that is when the ability to reverse swing, I think, is even more important than conventional swing today. If you're not able to reverse swing the ball, then you're going to struggle to get wickets in the later part of the innings. So these are some of the things of fast bowling that really excites me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Abhishek, so speaking of performing on a flat wicket, right?
Yeah.
If you remember, the Eden Gardens wicket in the early 90s used to be very flat. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate that I went to see the India versus South Africa, South Africa's comeback match in international.
Okay. 92-93. Yeah.
92-93, right? So that was South Africa's comeback match in Eden Garden, India versus South Africa. I was there personally.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. So South Africa got bowled out by 160 something. Okay. Then everybody thought, okay, what team is this? Right. Good for nothing. Okay. There's a lot of hype. 160 will be a cakewalk for India, especially with Navjot Singh Sidhu, giving a good start. Tendulkar, Praveen Amre, Azharuddin, all those guys were there.
Right.
Came in Alan Donald. Okay.
Yeah.
The first person you see bowling, Alan Donald, with his huge and smooth but long run up. Okay.
Yeah.
In no time, he took 5 wickets.
Yeah, 5 for 29. I remember that match very well.
Right. And it was only Sachin Tendulkar and to some extent Praveen Amre who saved the match for India and won the match. But even 160 was a tall target, given the amount, the quality of bowling that Alan Donald was doing. speaking of impact on a flat wicket, that is an example.
That is a great example. That is a great example. And Alan Donald's run up and it was so smooth. It was like poetry in motion. The way he used to run in and the aggression. I mean, I can never forget. I mean, Alan Donald, no matter even till the time he was playing, even right before his retirement, he looked very, very menacing. And especially, Indians used to struggle with Alan Donald big time.
Yep.
And he had bounce, pace. He was absolutely great. So that's a perfect segue to my next question. So this time let's start with Jolin. Jolin, so who is your all-time favorite fast bowler and why?
Okay. So this is a difficult one to answer because I'm not that much kind of follower of fast bowling, but if I have to select one, correct, it would be Wasim Akram. Um and I think fact is I think when you first of all it is a left-handed bowler. I think there is always a charisma attached to a left-handed fast bowler, correct? Be it a Wasim Akram, Mitchell Johnson, or whoever it is, correct? So based on a test match that I think I watched ball by ball, where I think eventually we lost the game. I don't know the venue, but Sachin was playing. I think he scored a century as well, but we couldn't save the match. And I think
Chennai 1998
yeah,
Chennai Test match.
yeah, correct. So I think it was not Akram versus Sachin, but the Akram versus Dravid, correct? The spell that I have seen, I think Dravid was the best batsman we ever had probably in the Test cricket, correct? Even in India and then in Chennai, where I think you don't see a good spell of fast bowling. I think he was unable to even understand whether outswing, in swing. He was like he probably would have got out 10 times probably in that spell, but somehow we survived, correct? But that's kind of. So I think I would go with Wasim Akram, be it a T20. Obviously he did not play T20, but one day test match, any time, I think he is the guy probably could take the wickets, not just by his bowling and swing skills. I think the way he used to deceive the batsman, correct? So all time favorite Wasim Akram.
So the particular match you talked about, he actually got Rahul Dravid out. So I remember, especially I remember the lead up to that particular wicket. He bowled two in swingers to Dravid, beat him all ends up, and then he bowled him with an out swinging ball. So he
Yeah.
played for the in swing and it hit the off stump.
Yeah. So for me, I think he is the top of the lot, I would say, and I would love to watch him live if possible, even in future.
Yeah, yeah. Prince, I think I know your answer, but go ahead.
My favorite is also Wasim Akram probably, uh, but I have had favorites through the years. I obviously supported the Indian team, so I had to support some mediocre bowlers also, and bowlers who were not world class, but they were very good. So in the 90s, I liked Srinath, especially probably at the end of his career for the last 3-4 years. I thought he was uh, pretty quick, sharp, had a very lethal in swinger, and he again could bowl. Actually, he bowled better on flat tracks than seaming conditions. So he was
Yeah.
one bowler who was very effective in subcontinent conditions. And if you see, he is the only bowler who supported Kumble over the years in India. Abroad, we anyway lost because we never scored more than 200 runs. So the bowlers never had enough runs on the board to defend. But all time, of course, Wasim Akram again. I remember this one special spell he bowled against Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, he was bowling to Upul Chandana. I think I'm not sure if it was a test match or a one day, but it was
One day. It was a one day. It was a one
because
day.
back in the day, a lot of times you used to wear white clothes. So I don't remember if it's one day. And he just I know Upul Chandana is not the greatest of batsmen, but the way and Akram was not very young back then. It was 97, 98, I think.
Yeah,
And he bowled an in-swinging Yorker, out-swinging Yorker. He bowled a short pitch ball. Then he pitched it up. And then, I mean, Chandana could not touch the ball. And then finally in the sixth ball, he was
he was bold. Yeah.
bold. And the variety and the sharp pace. I think the one thing which I liked about Akram and I like about your bowling also is that quick arm action, right? Because you're very deceptive. Everybody who has a quick arm action is very deceptive, and I prefer quick arm action bowlers than someone who is a regular bowler, and that's why even Bumrah is very, very effective, because even he has a quick arm action
Quick
and
arm
very
action,
deceptive.
and then you don't need a really long run up if you have a quick
A
arm
long
action.
run up, yes, and plus it's very hard to judge if you're so if you have a very short run up and a quick arm action, is very hard to judge the length, whether the person is bowling full or just short of length. And plus he's to bowl very close to the wicket, close to the stumps, right? And he had hardly any space between him and the umpire, so his arm almost came behind the umpire, and he would change his hand, hide the
Plus
sting.
hide the ball, yeah.
I mean, he did not need to do that, because even if you saw the same, you couldn't pick it up. But Wasim Akram, yes, Srinath, and I have an affinity towards left arm bowlers, and I really like Zahir Khan. I thought Zahir Khan for 4-5 years was top class. So Akram, Srinath, Zahir Khan, and Anderson. Anderson, I have to give it to him because for longevity, and again, he's excellent in any conditions, along with Dale Steyn. But my favorite remains Wasim Akram. And amongst the Indians, I had two favorites: Srinath in the 90s and Zahir Khan in the 2000s. Bumrah, I think he's excellent, world class, but I'm not a big fan. I don't know. Bumrah lacks the charisma. I mean, he doesn't. I don't know. He's very smart and he's very skillful, but he doesn't seem very smart. And I like smart bowlers than someone who is very gifted. So although Akram was both, but yeah. So I like Zahir Khan and I like Wasim Akram because of their tact as well as their skill. Yeah.
Excellent point. Niranjan?
Well, for me, that is a difficult question because there are so many greats. Okay.
Right.
In modern day, see, if you look at modern day cricket, okay, so India is even producing great fast bowlers, right? I mean, I think right after the times of Srinath, okay, then we had Srinath, Zahir Khan, and then these days we have Bumrah, okay. So India is providing good quality fast bowlers. West Indies at one point in time had all-time greats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
in the same
they
team.
had,
in the same team.
yeah, all in the same team. So, and same with Pakistan. Pakistan at one point in time, starting with Imran Khan, Sarfaraz Nawaz, and then coming down, Wasim Akram, Waqar Younis, Aqib Javed, okay,
Shoaib.
all these guys. So there were times when each of these teams had good fast bowlers in the same time span.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, for me, I have great respect for Kapil Dev. Okay. Kapil Dev for a long time, okay, when carried the load of Indian fast bowling on his shoulders. There was practically, I mean, there were people coming in and going out. But in terms of longevity, performance, and carrying the load, for me, it's Kapil Dev, right? And
not missing a single test match because of injury, which is an amazing record.
Which is an amazing thing for a fast bowler, right? Another person who I like a lot, and in same time range as Kapil Dev, is Richard Hadley. Richard Hadley again in New Zealand. He also had support from his teammates, fast bowling teammates, but he was also in a great league, right? So so for the fact that Kapil Dev had no support, okay, played all his life in flat Indian wickets, right? Had no proper training, okay, and due to his own personal skill set, he achieved great heights. For me, my vote goes to Kapil Dev.
Yeah, and the thing I'll point about Kapil Dev is Kapil Dev again. He, like you said, he had no support, and it makes a huge difference. If you see the most successful bowlers, fast bowlers, usually hunted in pairs. And India did not have that luxury. And the thing with Kapil Dev was that a lot of times, and a lot of players used to say, we used to just play Kapil Dev's spell out, because once we knew Kapil Dev was tired, he was gone, then it used to be much easier for everybody. So that is definitely a good point. Plus, Kapil Dev had the outs. Prince, you spoke about Srinath. Srinath became very effective in the last few years because he didn't develop an outswinger, but he developed that straighter one. Where because he was a big in-swing bowler, so even when he could just straighten the ball, that would be impactful. Kapil Dev, if you recall, even as late as 91, 92, he had a killer outswinger. If you remember from 91, 92 series, there's one game where he bowls both Dean Jones and Alan Border with outswingers, and they're unplayable. I mean, when you look at the videos, but it's banana outswinger. It feels as if it's coming in, but then it pitches and it moves out. It's unbelievable to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kapil Dev. My personal choice again, I think that was a popular opinion, Wasim Akram. I mean, I could watch Wasim Akram bowl day in and day out. Just a little bit of trivia, right? This is way after his retirement. So he was in the KKR Nets, and all the top guys were playing. Chris Gale, Ricky Ponting, all these guys were there. So the regular fast bowlers were bowling, and the batsmen were playing everything very, very easily. Wasim Akram, he had not held a cricket ball in 5 years. He just decided to, roll his shoulders, and he was beating batsmen left, right, and center. I mean, nobody could. Jack Callis, I mean, a batsman of his caliber, even he could not make out where the ball was pitching, where it was swinging. That was his genius. And it's funny thing, when India was playing against Pakistan, I liked Wasim Akram so much that the only thing I used to say that India should win the match, but at least whatever wickets Pakistan get, Wasim Akram should get those wickets. I used to like Wasim Akram so much. I mean, he was unbelievable. I mean, 92 World Cup.
Agreed.
You would never forget those two deliveries. I mean, that won Pakistan the World Cup, if you remember. I mean, they were cruising along, Neil Fairbrother and those guys, and he bowled two of the most iconic deliveries. Can you imagine in the World Cup final? I mean, that's the impact that he had. So of course, Wasim Akram gets my vote. Now, a related question that I have is, so we talked about our favorite bowlers, but even outside our favorite bowlers, do you have a fast bowling performance that stands out for you? One performance. Let's start with Prince this time. A single performance that blew your mind. I mean, may not be your favorite bowler, but he just completely turned the match around.
Yeah, I think in one of these matches, I forgot exactly. So there was right after the 1983 World Cup, and I purposefully I keep on going back in those days because those are very fond memories that we have, right? So there are quite a few such performances. One, Malcolm Marshall. Okay, Malcolm Marshall came in and devastated the Indian contingent in Firozshah Kotla. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think India followed on, right? And in one of the innings, they scored 100 something. In the second innings, they came and performed even badly, 83 all out, if I remember correctly, in the 80s. And it was all Malcolm Marshall all the way. I think seven wickets in one of the innings and followed by 5 or 6 wickets in the other. Okay, so that was one. Second, India, Sri Lanka, Srinath. Or no, I think it was India, South Africa. It was
Motera, Ahmedabad Test match. Yeah.
Srinath.
Six wickets. Srinath took 6 wickets in the second innings. India was, defending a very small total, but India still won.
Yeah. Right.
Prince?
I mean, it's surprising because your question is about someone who I don't rate as very high, but who had an impact. I think Lance Klusener. I think in the tour of India, where I think Azhar was in great form, I think Klusener took 5 wickets in his first Test match in India. This is
8 wickets in Eden Gardens.
8 wickets. And back then, I remember Klusener was very fast because he later on became a medium pacer, but he was extremely quick. He was 145, and again, the conditions were not very great. I mean, it was Eden Gardens only. I think
Eden Gardens, Eden Gardens,
only, right?
correct. Yeah.
So and Klužner was new and no one could pick him up. Again, he had a pretty big jump to the crease, and he was new, and we never played well against South Africa, whether it's in India or abroad. So and plus a new bowler comes in and he just takes 8 wickets. So Klužner, I remember that very distinctively. Another unconventional bowler is the one we saw live this time in 2017, the Sri Lankan bowler who took 5 wickets against India recently,
Oh,
2017 when we
swing
went to
bowler, right?
Eden Gardens. Yeah, first spell he just destroyed our top order, and again not very known. I forgot his name completely, but he took like 4 wickets in front of us. And again, not in helpful conditions. I mean, first 15 overs in Eden Garden, it's a little, it seems a bit because of the dew, early morning dew, but other than that, it's pretty flat. So I think the most recent memory is that Sri Lankan fast bowler who I don't remember.
Yeah.
So back in the day, I would remember names of all the teams, but now I don't. Uh, and that's another point which I wanted to make was
Especially Sri
that
Lankan, especially the Sri Lanka team now.
Sri Lanka and Pakistan and the Pakistan team, they change so often that I don't remember the names. But the other point I wanted to make was I know I'm going a little off track, but I sincerely feel the quality of fast bowling in the 90s was far superior than in the 2000s and the 2010s, because every single team had 2 genuinely awesome. I'm barring India. India, you can say we had good bowlers, but all the other teams had 2 genuinely great bowlers. Ambrose Walsh, Waqar Wasim, Donald Sean Pollock, Chamindavas Muralidharan. I mean, even we had Srinath Kumble. Again, probably Kumble is a greater bowler than Srinath. And then you had New Zealand, who had Shane Bond and Vittori. Again, not top level players, but reasonably good.
Chris Cans was there. Chris
Chris,
Cans.
Chris Cairns was there. And then which team did I miss? I missed England.
Australia. Australia.
Australia had Meghra
Meghra
Gillespie.
Ali.
Meghra Gillespie, Lee again inconsistent. I felt the Meghra Gillespie pair was far more effective because both were exceptionally accurate, and I feel Gillespie does not get his due because his records, he averages 25 in test matches, but he was extremely accurate and he was quick. People forget how quick he was. He used to bowl plus 140s, 145, 143, 144. And Meghra was not very quick, but Meghra was devastating. I mean, Meghra could bowl a bouncer at a pace of 135 and still hustle you. I don't know what he did with his bouncers, because he had these slow bouncers which were not very quick, but they were so well directed. So so that was my point.
Jolene,
That the 9, yeah.
memorable performance.
Yeah, so I think it's a very controversial player of late. He's not in the, he had a long cricket ban. Also, I think his performance was in a country where we never did well, which is South Africa. So I think one of the tests in Johannesburg, I think the first ever test match, they probably we probably would have won, actually, correct? It's a Srishant, actually. He took 8 wickets in a test match, 5 in first inning, 3 in second.
Yeah.
The spell that he had, correct, in the first inning was like, it blew my mind, because I think obviously it's because of the commentator as well. They used to say the seam position that he was having in that inning was like, 100%, like,
Unbelievable.
yeah,
Right.
unbelievable, so on and so forth. But those 5 wickets were unbelievable. Unfortunately, we couldn't win the series because it was like 1-0 up in the first test match, and then we lost next 2. But I think that was the swing fast bowling, I would say, spell that I remember from, like, in test matches, I'm saying, remember that was great. And I don't think so we could replicate that after that match. So that was a fast bowling, great
So,
performance that I can think of from my side or India
you
side.
remember Jack Callis's dismissal?
I don't remember now, but yeah.
Srishant, Srishant bowled him again with an outswinger. Again, perfectly pitched outswinger, and he was not even trying to hit. He was trying to defend, and he went past his bat and hit his off stump.
Yeah. So only one point here I want to make is that guy was, I would say,
He was very
immensely
talented.
and lucky as well, because he was part of the T20 World Cup that we have won, even the 50-over World Cup we have won, and the first match that we won in South Africa, correct? I think we should have him in our squad, and we should not even play him. We probably will win the series. I think he was lucky as well. I don't know, somehow.
Yeah.
For us.
So my again, there are a lot of performances, but one performance I remember clearly because again it was not even a test match. It was a one-day game. It was India New Zealand, not India, Pakistan New Zealand, and Waqar Younis had to defend 2 runs in the last over, and New Zealand had 3 wickets, and Pakistan won by 1 run.
Oh.
So Waqar got 3 wickets in the last over. Again, Waqar was very good. Again, for me, Wasim Akram was superior because Wasim Akram did better against the better teams. Waqar was absolutely devastating against the lower order and slightly weaker teams. Because, most of the tailenders would not be able to manage Waqar at all. And that game was unbelievable. Can you imagine trying to defend 2 runs with 3 wickets and still winning the game for your country? That was amazing.
So Abhishek, I think I just want to mention one more, incidents. I think even though Sri Lanka lost the game, it is in, I think, the World Cup. I think we were out in the first round itself. I think it was against South Africa. I think hardly
Malinga got 4 and 4, right?
Yeah,
Malinga got 4 and 4.
Yeah. They almost won the match. He probably have taken one more wicket and they would have won the match. So that's an amazing spell, actually, or probably over, you can say so.
No, but you remember what happened. The way South Africa won the game was Mahela Jayawardene moved first slip and put a second slip. And the last one was an edge that went through first slip.
Yeah. It's crazy. I think
if there was a first slip, they could have possibly won that game.
The game. Yeah.
And he was again, I think the scores were level at that time and he got like 4 wickets.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So Abhishek, just a small correction. The Malcolm Marshall performance which I was referring to was not in Firoz Kotla. It was the first test of the series in Kanpur.
Okay.
Kanpur. In fact, in Firoz Kotla, India bounced back with Gavaskar.
Actually, Gavaskar got his 30th 100 in that test match, I think, in Firoz Kotla.
In Firoz Kotla, right.
That was Gavaskar's quickest 100 in test match. He got 100 of 94 balls.
Correct.
In that match in Firoz Kotla.
94.
94 balls, and he hit Malcolm Marshall of 6 of front foot. He pulled him for a 6. So that was, again, that's completely off topic, but I want to talk about that 83 series. So, Gavaskar, he used to be a number 1 batsman, right? And they had just come back from a West Indies series where he had batted long hours. So he was very tired. So he actually went to the board and told him that, it gets, especially when India bowls first, it gets very difficult for him to open the batting because, they've been fielding and India's bowling was not very strong. India would field for after a day and a half, 2 days, and then India would go to bat at the end of a day. So he used to find it very hard to concentrate. So he actually requested the board and he wanted to bat at number 4, 2 down against West Indies. Yeah. And guess what? In that test match, this was Chennai. Gavaskar was slated to bat number 4. Malcolm Marshall bowled. He got the first 2 batsmen out for a duck. Gavaskar was on the wicket in the first over, 0 for 2. So when he walked in, Viv Richards, he told Gavaskar that no matter where you bat, man, the score is always 0 when you come in. So that is, he abandoned batting at number 4. He was like, this is not going to work, so let me just stick to opening. And just as a trivia, that was Gavaskar's highest test score, that innings that he scored in number 4, 236 not out in Chennai. Lots of
that is so sad and brilliant at the same time. The comment.
Yeah. Correct. So now let's change gears a little bit. So tell me, what role do you think a fast bowler has in one day and T20s today? Because, earlier what would happen, at least in the 80s, 80s, they started putting in some of the restrictions, but prior to that, fast bowlers could bowl any number of bounces in an over, right? The pitches were not that flat. A lot of the pitches were uncovered pitches. Plus, if you recall in the 70s, the no ball rule was a back foot no ball rule. So fast bowlers, especially some of the West Indian bowlers, were practically bowling from 18 yards. But now, I mean, so much restriction has been put. Now, if you see even the big grounds, they have brought the boundaries in as well. So now, considering all that, there are a lot of disadvantages fast bowlers have today. So what role do you think they have in one day and T20 cricket? Let's go with Prince first.
I think what the trend these days is that your wicket taking option in these shorter formats are spinners, right? And especially finger spinners, Narayan, Ashwin, and all of this. And I understand that a little bit because a lot of the foreign players, especially in say IPL, they don't pick spinners anyway. Pick them off the hand or off the pitch, right? So that's one. And so when you talk about IPL, I only talk about when you talk about T20, I talk about IPL because that's probably the most impactful series which happens around the year, right? In terms of what I feel is the role of a fast bowler, I think fast bowlers really don't fit into T20. Genuine fast bowlers I'm talking about. Probably barring Bumrah and Rabada because they're just exceptional bowlers. So, I mean, regardless of what format they play, they're exceptional. But I feel anyone who's a seamer, he has to have some variations to have an impact in the shorter format. So, I mean, back in the day when I used to watch cricket, Faulkner, bowlers like Faulkner who had a lot of slower balls and change-up deliveries, Ian Harvey, those kind of bowlers, Dion Nash, Larson, who never played T20, of course. But I'm just saying, I mean, that mold of bowlers who have have change of pace, slower balls, a slower bouncer, a slower Yorker, Praveen Kumar. Although again, he didn't play much, but Praveen Kumar was also very effective in T20s. So I think genuine fast bowlers get hammered, including Dale Steyn. I've seen Dale Steyn get hit like crazy. I mean, I remember that one match against Bangalore where
AB de
Villiers
Villiers.
just took him apart. I mean,
He hit him
no matter
24
what he
runs.
was,
Hit him for 24 runs in the last over.
he was slog sweeping Dale Steyn. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, no fast bowler, and especially of that quality, should be treated. I think all the fast bowlers should stop playing T20. Genuinely genuine fast bowlers, because it'll be very hard for their ego, because there's no help. There's no help, and the batsmen, want to take the risk, and plus smaller boundaries, top edges, miss hits, go for sixes. So I would rather have a very good spinner in the team rather than a very good fast bowler. So for me, seamers, not fast bowlers, have a place in T20, but they should have variety in their bowling, change of pace, go around, go around the wicket or go over the wicket. Zahir Khan, I would think if he was a little younger when he played IPL, he would have been very good. And also, of course, our guru Wasim Akram. Because I remember a very small anecdote which Akram told. I think he was part of the India-Australia series, and he said that the initial days of T20, he was playing for, I think, Yorkshire. Lancashire, and he had played a few T20, and he was unplayable, and he thought that format was suited for him like crazy because he just had 4 overs to bowl, and he would bowl full throttle, and he would bamboozle everyone in that span. Yeah.
So I think you talked about Dale Steyn, right? I think one of the things that Dale Steyn lacks, he is not a very good Yorker bowler. So I think that's one of the reasons where he struggles. And you mentioned Rabada and Bumrah because they have really good Yorkers. I think Yorkers is key for fast bowlers, right? Jolin?
I agree.
Yeah, so I think for me, I think it's more to a reputation that one should have as a fast bowler in like T20 and one day, because it doesn't matter even you are you have a good Yorker, good slower bowler, so many varieties, correct? But players like AB de Villiers, Hardik Pandya, or even Percy Stokes, correct? If they have a good day, it doesn't matter what you bowl, you are going to get out of the park, correct? But the reputation that you brings in as a death bowler, whether it's a T20 or a one day match, correct? So it's basically it plays in batsman's mind, and then they more often than not make a mistake. So be it a Bumrah, if you look at it, I'm going to say he does not have that much of an variety compared to other bowlers, but the reputation that he has built over the few years, like he can bowl 6 Yorkers. I don't think so he can, but he can bowl 6 Yorkers. He can bowl fast ball. So I think it's a more of a playing with batsman's mind in T20 and one day death bowling. So more and more, if you have that kind of reputation built, either via having winning performances or even via marketing, correct? PR thing right now, PR is a very big thing. So if you have a PR team working with you and then create that kind of perception, I would say would be great. But I just want to say one thing, correct? Uh, like Sehwag, I would say I used to remember, because spinners are not even a bowlers for him. So even though finger spinner can take wickets, or the spinner can take wickets in, I think, shorter format, they are as vulnerable as any other bowler. They can hit for 666 probably, because if players like ABD 360-degree player, so fast bowlers are very very much required, whether it's a T20 or a one day. And I wouldn't ball even a spinner in last 10 hours of ODI or even last 5 hours of T20, no matter what, what the pitch is, what the bowlers you have. It's the fast bowling all along, and then that can only win you matches actually, at international level, not IPL but at international level, because where I think all the batsmen are very well equipped with all kinds of shots. So the fast bowlers are the way to go forward. Um, I think more and more you see the new bowlers which are coming in. I mean to say, they have lots and lots of varieties. Any new bowler you pick up, correct? For example, the English folks like uh, forgot the name. The I wouldn't say
Mark Wood. Mark
no,
Wood.
no, not Mark Wood. Not a
Jofra Archer.
not a
Jofra Archer.
not a white guy, not Jofra Archer, the T20 specialist. I think he can bat as well. I like that guy. I forgetting his name. He recently played T20 as well against Pakistan and Australia. I love that guy. Um, but anyway, I think the variety, he has a incredible variety, and every time he bowls the last overs, I would say. So
So you know what? So what you said, Jolin, I have a little bit of a contrary opinion to that. I think with IPL and so many T20 games, I think the whole reputation thing has gone out of the window now. Now I think, now if you look at even rank newcomers who come into the into the team, be it IPL or anywhere, they are not afraid to hit the first ball for a six, be it Bumrah or Dale Steyn. I think that is the free flowing batting that has become popular now. That I think to a large extent has completely taken away the whole reputation piece. Earlier, if you remember back in the days when Wasim Akram was bowling, you would feel the batsman was trying to be extra careful. Now they just don't care. I mean, be it Dale Steyn, I mean, again, so the reason I think Bumrah is successful is because he's able to pitch those Yorkers. But I think if even if Bumrah doesn't bowl in the right areas, he's going to get hit. And if you remember, there was a game, IPL game against Delhi Daredevils, where Rishabh Pant took Bumrah apart completely because he was missing the Yorkers by a few centimeters, and Rishabh Pant was hitting him deep into the stand.
correct.
That
Leg
is
side,
one
yeah.
big change I've seen with T20, that now reputations don't matter anymore. If the ball is there to hit, they will hit you.
Agreed. So what I meant, probably I didn't make the point probably. So I think, see, anyway, given a day, I think any bowler can be taken apart. So I think when it is a crunch situation, I think it's a reputation will play. I think Bumrah has won so many matches because he has that reputation, correct? So batsmen try to do something different, and then he takes an advantage of it. So it's basically a percentage game, correct? Like you want to play as a captain or as a fast bowler, I'm saying. But yeah, I agree. I'm going to say, with the kind of batsmen that we have and no fear and T20 getting played all over the world throughout the year. So I agree that you
Yeah.
also have a point. Yeah.
Nilanjan, what is your opinion?
See, I will take this question a little differently. Okay. See, if you are an audience, okay, sitting in the ground, okay,
Yeah.
you practically don't know what the bowler is bowling. Okay,
Right.
you can only judge the bowler whether the ball is a good ball or a bad ball if you are watching it on television, right?
Right.
as an audience sitting in the ground, okay, I'm only cared about. I only care about the fours and sixes that is coming out of the batsman's bat, right?
True.
And that is why we have all these restrictions in the first place. That let's make this game more entertaining for the people on the ground, so that after all, it's all business. It's all commercials, right? So you've got to draw more and more people into the ground for the business sake of things,
Right.
which unfortunately has put severe limitations on the repertoire or the capacities, or I will not say repertoire, but on the whatever you can do as a fast bowler, right? As Colin said, right? You can you can be a great bowler, but you can be thrashed out of the park in no time, right? But so as a fast bowler, I think the role in T20 cricket should be to see how you can deceive the player supporting role. First of all, player supporting role, and see how you can deceive the batsman. If you can deceive the batsman, if you can make a fool of the batsman, only then you can succeed. Especially in T20, yeah. In 50-over cricket, you still have chances. You have 10 overs, but in 4 overs, unless you are a good death bowler or you cannot deceive the batsman, you are nobody.
Yeah. And it's strange that if you compare it to Test cricket, right? In Test cricket, you will value a bowler who can pitch the ball in the same place for six deliveries in an over. In T20, that becomes a weakness, because now the batsman can actually line you up and start hitting you if you are bowling. So I mean, if you see Glenn McGrath, he played IPL. He was not very effective. He used to get hit because his strength was accuracy, and here variety is the name of the game. I mean, unless you have the variety and you have the confidence of bowling there consistently, you are going to struggle. Yeah.
I wanted to make a point here. I just wanted to elaborate on what Nilanjan said. I think I agree to the fact that people on the ground might be looking forward to sixes and fours and a big target being chased. But I think a close match, irrespective of it being a high-scoring match or a low-scoring match, is interesting to me. So if you make a helpful pitch and there's a low-scoring match, I would also enjoy that match.
No, but Prince, I think the point Nilanjan was making is, I think cricket lovers like us will enjoy good competition. But if you talk about the layman, people who are not, absolute avid followers of the game, they would rather, I mean, especially a lot of the IPL audience, if you really look at India, a lot of women go to watch the games, right? Again, it's not, I'm not trying to make a sexist statement, but what happens is, when there is a layman who's watching it, he would rather see, fours and sixes more than a close, low scoring game. They would possibly want a 300 game where 300 runs are getting chased. But, I mean, some of us who love the game, we would want a close game, no matter what, a high scoring or a low scoring game. As long as it's close, it's good.
No, but so my problem is not with high scoring games. My problem is that it should not be this skewed. So 9 out of 10 matches should not be a high scoring match. So you have to give a little bit of variety to the audience, right? So if people see more low scoring matches, people will understand that it's much more nail biting for a low scoring match than a high scoring match. I mean, the perfect example is two of my favorite matches were low scoring matches, which India won. One was the 83 World Cup and the other was the T20 World Cup final. India won. Both were considerably low scoring matches and they were absolutely brilliant matches. And to the other side, of course, a high scoring match is also very entertaining, like the one which had Gibbs and Smith score.
Australia and South Africa, right? 434.
I remember seeing that match in my hostel corridor. It was a brilliant match. I mean, the kind of batsmanship we saw in that match was brilliant. But I would rather have some variety in the nature of matches rather than just watch a singular kind of match.
You're right, but it is unfortunate that TV is actually dictating. TV and viewership is dictating a lot of the rules in the game, right? I mean, it's becoming completely skewed for the batsman. I mean, it started long time back, right? When they took away the bouncers from the, you can bowl only one bouncer in an over, all that. Now it's so easy, right? Even people who are not so good against short pitch bowling, they know if one more bouncer is bowled in that over, now they can,
That's
if they
over,
want,
yeah.
they can charge the bowler in the later part of the over because they know that the bowler can't bowl a short ball anymore, so they are
And the
easily
other
able to handle that. Yeah,
And the
go
other
ahead.
point I wanted to make was that I feel now T20 and Test matches are the known versions of the game, and one day is the alien version. And I feel so when I watched this World Cup, I almost felt that the teams did not know how to play one day internationals, especially in the middle overs. I mean, so the T20 has become it was so more uh, a lot more frequent in terms of the number of matches we play than the one day matches that I think people have forgotten the strategy of playing one day internationals, and I was seeing a lot of wrong bowlers bowling at the wrong time. World Cup.
Not only that, I
So
think
I feel
even the viewers have forgotten how to watch a one-day game now because of T20.
yes,
Because
because
the middle overs seem very slow. I think that there needs to be some changes there. I think, again, maybe the same thing they do in the power play, they should do the same thing in the middle overs. Allow only a certain number of fielders outside the circle. That way, at least the middle overs will get more interesting.
I mean, it almost felt as if that people were, going back to the 90s, watching videos how they were playing between 30 and 40 overs, and then coming back and playing that way. Because these days, the bats and the grounds being smaller, you don't need to rotate strike between 30 and 40. You can still hit between 30 and 40, between the 30th and the 40th over. I remember a game, if you remember, we saw in the 2015 World Cup, De Villiers came in the 31st over and he scored a century. I mean, the way
150.
they
He scored
actually
150.
150, yes, and he came in the 31st over and he was slam bang from that. And a lot of teams miss out these days because they have this mindset that no, because traditionally between 30 and 40 we are supposed to score 60 runs and keep our wickets. I think that needs to change if you want to make one day more attractive.
And it's funny that you mentioned that game. Prince and I were watching the game together in my that particular game. And when De Villiers
And
came to bat, Avik just, he just said that he's going to score a 150.
so sense.
And he came into bat in the 36th over, I think, 36th or 37th over. And I was like, are you crazy? And guess what? He actually scored a 150 in that game. Even
I think
Prince was also joking, but it actually came true.
And I remember Holder was bowling 5 overs, 25 runs, and he ended up with, I think, 98 runs or something like that in 10 overs.
Yeah.
And again, Holder is very, very underrated. I think Holder is a very good package in terms of an all-rounder.
Yeah. Cool. Guys, all, great points. So let's just wrap things up. I have like a trivia round where I'll ask you some questions. Let's see if you can answer those. Again, not very difficult questions, but so Test cricket, among the top wicket takers, who has the lowest average in Test cricket? Any guesses?
Lowest being the best. Okay, the best, right? You mean
Best average among the top, I would say, 10 bowlers.
current or all time?
All time.
Who will go first? Anyone? I think it's Courtney Walsh.
No, that's not Courtney Walsh.
I think it's Ambrose probably because I think he's 21 something.
So Abhishek, I missed that question because I was disconnected. What was it?
Question is, who in the top 10 wicket takers in Test cricket has the best average, the lowest average?
Lowest average.
So Nilanjan answered Courtney Walsh, which was not right. Prince answered Curtly Ambrose, which is incorrect on a technicality because he's not in the top 10 wicket takers. Although his average is very low. His average is very low. Yes. That's a good answer because his average is low, but he's not in the top 10 wicket takers.
Okay, and we're talking about only fast bowler, correct?
No, beat anybody. I mean, but usually the fast bowlers' averages are lesser than the spinners, right?
So, so are we
In
talking about
most
test
cases.
matches, right?
Test
In
matches,
test
yes.
matches.
Test
Stuart
matches.
I think it's
Stuart Stuart
What?
Stuart
No, the
Broad.
answer is
Dennis Lilly.
no. Glenn McGrath. His average is only 21.64.
Right,
Because
right,
he,
right.
he
Yeah.
hardly gave any runs, right? I mean, the average is calculated. It's total runs given divided by wickets. So because he used to give so few runs, okay.
How much is
Next
Dennis
one is
Lilly then? Dennis Lilly? Dennis Lilly was close or
again
no?
Dennis Lilly. The problem is he's not in the top 10, right? He's
Oh, okay.
way low. He has only 355 wickets, but even Dennis Lilly's average is more than McGrath.
Okay.
Okay. Again, the next one is really easy. Who has the maximum 5 wicket hauls in 10 wicket hauls in Test cricket, and who's the bowler?
Murli. Has to be Murli.
That's easy.
I mean, and by I think by a huge margin, probably 15 plus.
So he has 22 10 wicket hauls. The next best is 10, which is Shane Warne.
Double.
Same one.
Okay, now switching to one-day cricket. Which fast bowler has the highest number of wickets in one day?
Wasim.
Highest is of course Murli. Murli is the highest in one day as well, which not a lot of people know. Murli is the highest not only in Test but also in one-day cricket.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. Wasim Akram has 500
Yes,
wickets, right?
that's correct. 502 wickets, Wasim Akram.
Wasim.
And who's the highest wicket taker for India in one-day cricket?
Kumble.
Yeah, Anil Kumble. Anil Kumble also happens to be the highest wicket taker in Test cricket for India.
Yeah, yeah.
So we forget how good, how effective Anil Kumble was. I remember throughout his playing career, we used to abuse him all the time. Especially my Bada Mama is also a huge cricket fan. Every game India used to play, he would call me and he would abuse Anil Kumble. He's supposed to be a spinner. Why doesn't he spin the ball?
I used to consider him as a fast bowler anyway because the way he used to ball.
Can you imagine? He has close to 1,000 wickets in international crickets, 619 in Test and 337 in one day. I mean, which is huge.
Correct.
Okay, guys, I think that's what I had planned for today. Again, awesome discussion. And Nilanjan, you are a wonderful addition. I mean, the insights you got into the game. Honestly, I didn't know you were so much into cricket, Nilanjan. This is a revelation for me also.
I'm very much into it.
Yeah, now we know, because I know. I mean, Prince and I, of course, Prince and I just to let you know, we have had serious fights discussing cricket, even as recent as like 2 years back.
2 years back.
And
No,
there was one time when
I can join the fight too.
there was one day when my wife and my daughter were sleeping upstairs, and they could hear us, shout at the top of our voice, and they thought something had happened. Then my wife came down and she realized that we were talking about cricket and we were fighting about Virat Kohli versus Kane Williamson. It got so heated. So this is wonderful. It feels great to talk about the game. And Jolin, again, we know how passionate you are. So Nilanjan, the first call we had last week, it was held at 4:30 a.m. India time, and Jolin woke up and attended that call. So you can imagine how much he loves to discuss cricket.
Right. Absolutely.
This is great, guys. Again, we'll try to do something every week. Next week, I'm going to play a cricket game. So if you guys can, attend, please try to do that, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And just one note for everybody: the cricket channel is called Cricket Shenanigans. Please, once I post the video, like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, because subscription is absolutely free. Some people I spoke to earlier this week, they told me they did not hit the subscribe button because they thought that subscription, there is a charge associated to it. So I want to be clear for all viewers that subscription is absolutely free. Please subscribe, please like, and we will try to get you more interesting topics in the future. Okay. Guys, again,
Sounds good.
thanks for attending, and we will see you again back next week. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Good night, guys.
Abhishek. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Abhishek.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, guys, that was our podcast for this week. Again, a lot of interesting things were discussed. Please support us by liking our video, subscribing to the channel, and the idea we have over the next few weeks is to bring in more people. Eventually, this broadcast might become more than cricket. We'll start discussing other topics around pop culture, movies, music, politics. So please support the video, and we will try to make it really interesting for all of you. Thank you, guys, and have a great week.